Hello, Taylor Ellwood here with Magical Experiments. And, well, what to say this week? I mean, this week I'm talking about the coronavirus and the inner alchemical and magical work that I'm doing around it. And, I think we're all adjusting to a new reality right now, and not one we necessarily wanted to live through. There's a lot of things I want to say about this, and I'm going to share everything I share, I'm going to do so with candor um, and honesty. So, which I would do anyway, but I'm just saying this because it's really important. I've had a couple people ask me, if there is a magical way to, I don't know, to heal the coronavirus or to deal with it or other things. And I'm just going to flat out say this. Um, at this point in time, I don't have any magical solution for the coronavirus. I wish I did. I wish I could tell you that, hey, if you do this or do that, that's going to take care of it, but I don't. And anyone else claiming otherwise, I would test and verify very carefully. I am doing some things, and I'm going to share what I'm doing magically. But anything I am doing with requisite caution and carefulness, and I am still socially isolating myself. I haven't been out of my house in terms of going anywhere other than going for a walk around my neighborhood since Tuesday afternoon when I got back from my workplace. And I don't foresee myself going out and about very much in the near future, or really for the next month or two, beyond the absolute necessary. And I would recommend the same to all of you. With all that said, I am doing those are kind of the mundane measures that I'm taking. I am taking some magical measures as well. And there's a few different reasons that I'm taking the measures that I'm taking, which I'm going to share. If you look in the description here, you're going to see a link to a blog article that I have, which is a ritual for protection and healing. And this is a ritual that was given to me by the archangels. I'm going to be editing that blog article a bit tomorrow because I've added a few things since then. You don't have to do the entirety of it. The parts that I've added are optional. It's just like an extra thing that you can do where it's working with some additional archangels. So it's up to you. But I came up with that as a way to do a ritual working, in this case, with the archangels for protection and healing, because I felt like it was a good idea to, really start working with the spirits that I'm working with on a regular basis and bring them into play. But not just for my own protection or for the protection of my family, but also to help mediate their forces and put those forces out into the world, because really that's what's needed right now. We need to all pull together. And I'm going to talk about that a little more later, but this is one of the reasons I decided to come up with that ritual. So, and in my case, I came up with that ritual in part because my partner is still out there in the world working. I mean, she comes home, of course, but she's handing out food um, to families and stuff like that. Trying and that's part of her work. So it's pretty scary in some ways, and so I want, of course, I want her to be protected, but I also want to extend that protection to the communities that she's serving. And I want to extend that protection to the people that I'm talking with on the phone when I'm talking with them about, even though it's about their software, they're still telling me, their own fears and everything else. We're talking about this virus and, how do we deal with it? So I came up with that ritual, and that's one thing that I would recommend to any of you, that if you are feeling a need to do something, take some magical action, that ritual has purposely been designed that regardless of what magical system you're working with, you can either work with the archangels or you can substitute your own spirits and work with them, come up with the appropriate chants. But it's really been designed to be a very simple and effective ritual. I will note that I have felt the archangel's presence, working through me and working with me during this time. And my wife has certainly said the same in her work. And it's something that we're doing every day as a way to, you know, to help us, but also to extend that outward. And I find that, when that as a result of this work, I am feeling moved at certain times, like when I'm talking with my customers, to, kind of to to sound off with them, to kind of talk with them about not just what issues they're having with their software right now, but what they're experiencing in regards to the coronavirus, and really just trying to make the effort to be there for them in their time of need. And it's the same thing with reaching out to the magical community as well. I want to be a resource to all of you in my own respective way, and so that's one of the reasons I've shared that ritual. Now, that's one thing that I'm doing, but the other thing that I'm doing is I am working with I am doing some inner alchemical work, where I'm working with the immune system of my body. I'm really bolstering it up and strengthening it, in case I do happen to catch the coronavirus. Hopefully I won't, but the reality of the matter is, in some ways, this thing is kind of just omnipresent, and we're all dealing with it. I actually had done a meditation a couple weeks back in regards to the virus, to reach out to it. And I actually had someone email me and say, have you tried working with it? And here's my experience working with viruses, because I've actually worked with viruses a couple different times now in my life. They have no real interest in working with us. They are predators. Right now, the coronavirus is the apex predator of the planet. And its desire is to spread itself out as much as possible and to live in as many different hosts as possible. It's a parasite, pure and simple. So I haven't really found it useful to try and work with it magically. And if anything, my focus really has been on working with my cells, and in particular working around the particular vulnerable vector point of the proteins that the coronavirus tries to infect and take over to propagate itself. So that's really been the focus of my inner alchemical work, using the techniques that I've discussed in the Inner Alchemy series. And for those of you who are like, well, can I replicate that? You certainly can. I mean, what you can do, it does require you to spend some time really working with your body. And in this case, working with the cells of your body, and working with them to help you identify that area of weakness and protect it, but also to strengthen them. And asking, your body, what can I do to be strengthening myself? What can I be doing to take good care of myself? What is it that you want me to be doing? You can also work with, the neurotransmitters and the hormones that can help you bolster your immune system. In some cases, you want to be careful of what you're working with. Like, for example, as they found, with the medicine that's anti-inflammatory, that actually exacerbates the coronavirus. So you don't want to be working with neurotransmitters. If you have the coronavirus, you don't want to be working with neurotransmitters that are anti-inflammatories, because that's actually going to make the situation work. You want to basically drive the coronavirus out, and get it over with as quickly as possible. But you can do things like working with the lungs of your body, work with your liver, work with any of the affected organs, and if you don't have it, work with strengthening those. Do some breathing meditation where you're connecting with the organ of, like with your lungs, for example. Communicate with your lungs. Let them, communicate with you, tell you what they need. Again, this is just some things that you can possibly do to help you with combating this, and it's also a way to help you bolster your immune system and strengthen your body for what may come. Again, it's not an absolute cure, and I want to make that very clear. I am not promising a cure in this video. I'm not advocating that I have one. I don't. All I can tell you are the preventative measures that I'm taking and the ways that I'm working with my body, and the other magical work that I'm doing in an effort to prepare myself. It's vitally critical that we really recognize that in whatever way we're going to work with our bodies, that we draw upon the resources that are available to us. And that's one of the reasons why I'm mentioning, working with the organs, working with the cells of your body, working with the neurotransmitters. These are things that are available to us. These are things that can help us if we approach them and work with them. And you might say, well, how do we do that? Well, I'm going to give you a very simple thing that you can do. What you can do is do some breathing meditation where you're taking a breath in and then breathing out. And you're not trying to do this to still your mind. What you're doing, though, is you're doing it as a way to start communicating with your body. Pay attention to what your body's feeling. And when you get to a point where you're really in tune with your body, follow your breath into your body and start traveling through each of the organs and start communicating with them. Just send out a request for the organ to communicate with you. And ask it, what can I do? What can you do to help me? What can I do to help you? And then go down further, go down to the cells of the body, to the blood cells and to the individual cells, and start working with them in a similar fashion. And then, go and work with the neurotransmitters and the hormones of your body that can help you with this. By working with your body in that way, it's a way that you can strengthen yourself for if you catch the sickness, and if not, and if nothing else, to hopefully fend it off. And again, work with the proteins that are affected by the coronavirus. Do some research, which we're easily able to do right now with everything that's out there about the coronavirus, and focus on helping your cells in that way. These are things that we can do as preventative measures that can help us to hopefully fight it off or even mitigate it altogether. But again, I'm not promising a cure, and I'm not promising you that you won't catch it. I'm just saying these are additional things you can do beyond the common sense things you should already be doing. Like, ideally, you're not going out there and partying with lots of people like the idiots down in Florida right now on spring break. Ideally, what you're doing is you're taking good care of yourself, and you're making sure that you maintain social distancing. I know it's not exactly anyone's cup of tea. It's certainly not mine. I don't like not interacting with people in a meaningful way, which is so it's not fun. But it's what we got to do. And this brings me kind of to the last part of this video, and it's really about how we're going to get through this. Here's the thing the coronavirus has made me realize. We have this very rare opportunity in throughout the world, not just in America, but throughout the world, where we can all pull together, where we can look past the usual divides of nation, of politics, of class, and everything else, and we can all choose to make the effort to pull together. It's all in how we choose to approach this. And so I would urge any and all of you that, in your everyday lives, look at how you can help other people out there. Look at what you can do to maintain some level of contact. Don't go out there and put yourself into risky situations. That's not what I'm advocating. But let's also pull together and help each other out. If you see someone that needs some help, try and help them out. Let's figure out a way to really reach out and help each other. Let's pull through this together. If nothing else, you see someone who's feeling stress and anxiety, just say to them, we're going to get through this. We will figure it out. I'm not saying that there's easy answers to all of this. But what I am telling you is that we have to approach this from the right attitude. Not that attitude alone is going to solve this, but if we go through and we pull together, we will find a way through this. This has happened before. There have been pandemics in the past. There have been other things in the past. And when people pull together as a community, when they let go of their differences and they focus on their similarities, on the fact that we're all human, on the fact that we all want to live, ideally, and survive, and do more than survive, then we will find a way to pull together. Maybe it's hosting a video chat room where you talk with other people. Maybe it's saying a kind word to somebody when you're walking, out on the streets and you happen to see them, and you're maintaining your distance, but you say hello and ask how they're doing. Maybe it's making sure that somebody who's in a place of need, they don't have the money they have. Maybe it's delivering a meal to them or doing something else to help out. Whatever it is, we have to be willing to pull together. That is what is going to help us get through this. And we have to do this as a planet. This isn't about nations anymore. We're all of us, every single human being, regardless of where you are on the planet, is going through this. And we all have to pull together. We can't be stubborn and say, well, hey, doesn't matter to me. We got to pull together. So that's kind of my that's my video for you tonight. Like I said, try out the ritual for protection and healing. Do some inner alchemical work, and reach out to each other in whatever way you can. Let's help each other. Let's pull together. There are no easy solutions to this, but if we pull together, we will find a way to get through this. And that's what we've got to have faith. And we've also got to look at the logic and the science of it all, but we've got to have faith in each other, in ourselves, and in that collective willingness to make whatever sacrifices need to be made in the short term in order to get where we need to go in the long term. And realistically, the short term may be a year, maybe longer than that, but it's still short term in the grand span of things. We've got to pull together. All right, that's my video for tonight. All of you are in my thoughts. When I'm doing my ritual of protection and healing, I am thinking of all of you. I am including all of you in that. And, I'm here for you guys. So let's pull through this together, okay?